Guys, join me for an adventure to Outport, Newfoundland. We're in Trinity Bight. It's a group of 12 tiny communities in an absolutely gorgeous area. It's my first time down in this area, and check this out. Right now we're in Old Bonaventure. Somebody is living almost on his own little island there. He's got the fishing stages and the $1 million view. He's right on the water. Check out this cove. Guys, today I'm out in the Trinity area of Newfoundland, and I've come down to a town called New Bonaventure. So here we have a little sign here, the Miller Curve. This unusual roof labeled the Miller Curve is a style that was common in New Bonaventure and Old Bonaventure, but which is rarely found elsewhere in Newfoundland. The Miller Curve, which dates to the turn of the century, is a fine example of the unique Newfoundland architecture. New Bonaventure has a number of houses still standing with the curved roof, but many of them now are clad in vinyl and the original windows have been replaced. Most of the remaining curved roofs seem to be built by the Millers, and while the old Bonaventure Millers and the new Bonaventure Millers were not closely related, both branches of the family seem to have had a preference for this style. And see the curved roof? And when you look out into the town, I can spot two right away. Kind of neat. So those are older homes. There's another one. So this is New Bonaventure here, guys. And it is so quiet and calm. The ocean is like a sheet of glass. They're perfect for kayaking. And I just heard a paddle. There's a lady kayaking over here, and I can hear her paddling from here, 500 or 600 feet away. That's how calm and quiet it is here. And so we've got this really old church here, built in 1925. I'm going to give you a bit of the history on this now, and then we're going to go inside and have a look. New Bonaventure settled in the early 1800s. New Bonaventure is a fishing community of the north side of Trinity Bay, approximately 17 kilometers southwest of Trinity, and it was likely an early station used by fishermen out of Trinity. The Millers are said to have been the first family to have settled New Bonaventure, which first appears in the records of the Anglican parish of Trinity in 1808, when a child was born to Samuel and Martha Miller of New Bonaventure. During the resettlement movement initiated by the provincial government in the 50s and 60s, many residents relocated here from Kelsey's Harbour, British Harbour, and Ireland's Eye. The focal point of the community is St. John's Anglican Church, standing high on the hill. This church was built in 1923 and was consecrated in 1925. Behind the altar is a beautiful stained glass window depicting Christ on the cross. What makes this window truly special is the soldier at the foot of the cross, dressed in uniform for World War I. The window is in memory of the young men from New Bonaventure and surrounding areas who fought and died during the war. In recent years, New Bonaventure has been home to 3 major film productions: Random Passage, the miniseries in 2000, The Shipping News in 2001, and The Grand Seduction feature film in 2012. Random Passage and The Grand Seduction have left behind portions of their sets which are used today as a tourist attraction here in New Bonaventure. Since 2000, there's been more than $60 million spent on film production in the Trinity Bight area. Wow. Alright, so there's headstones here, and those have been moved, I would imagine, from the resettlement. Evidence of resettlement is what I read on a sign just down the trail on the other side of the church. This church was built in 1923, but the headstones here are from the late 1800s. So I'll show you this well manicured garden here, cemetery. Archibald John passed away in 1887 at the age of 24 years. Edwin Miller passed on June 9th, 1889, aged 27 years. Magneto there on top, or whatever that's called, is all bent back from the storms. Here's a smaller one here. Oh, this was for a baby, Joanna. Passed in 1885, aged 1 year, 10 months. Rest in peace, Joanna. Loving memory of Aaron Miller. Passed in 1890 at the age of 23. So as you can see, the foundations are not solid. They're sort of like piers with gaps in between. Save on concrete, I guess. We just build wood, strip and bridge it across. Give them access, I guess, as well for the crawl space. A couple more headstones here. Lovely memory of Joanna, beloved wife of William King. Died 2nd of March, 1879, aged 28 years. Some of these are young, real young. And there's William King, the husband to Joanna. I can't see his age. Well, let's go in and have a look inside, guys. Archie! So there's nobody inside right now, but the sign says visitors are welcome. And it's got the old school latch. That opens pretty easily. I'm gonna leave the door open just for easy exit. Here's where the baptisms take place, I guess. In memory of Azariah King, 1884. Cool. Okay, now I see the picture of the soldier in uniform that they're talking about out there on the sign. They died that others may live. In loving memory of Alethea King, 1919, Mahala Miller, 1923. In memory of James King, 1923, and Amy King, 1917. Wow, a lot of history in this town, you guys. Chimney goes right up through the back here. It's probably wood stove back in the day. It looks like they've got converted to oil. Built in 1923 here, guys. I'll give you a quick peek underneath. I can tell there's a bit of a bow on this wall here. Things got a bit of lean to it. So see what I'm saying? There's like sections of concrete and then big gaps. Oh yeah, you can see all the old timber. Looks like it's hand hewn almost. Just roughly sawn on a couple sides. See old beams in there, and they're on round piers. Cool. I always wonder how everything is held up. I'm always interested in the foundation and how things are built. There's little different designs in each one of these stained glass windows here too. I actually saw a Freemasons lodge on the way in here. Okay, it's a diving bird. Maybe these are Masonic symbols. Somebody comment down below if you recognize these symbols. Alright guys, we're going to explore a little bit more, but what a beautiful day out here today. I'm going to take my daughter here camping in this area. I just met a wonderful couple there from Ontario, freshly retired. Spending 2 months here in Newfoundland exploring. And they're having a blast, they said. Hopefully you guys subscribe. See you on all the videos we're putting out here. So, just saw this little viewpoint here, just down from the church. Wow, what a spot, you guys. Check this out. Wow. Look how calm the water is. Really nice. Blueberries are on the way, but it's only July 28th, so we're a little early. But there's 2 that are blue. This is what I'm guessing is a Freemasons lodge, you guys. We got a flagpole there with no flag on it currently. And it says Gibraltar LOL 130. Let me know down in the comments if this is actually a Masonic lodge. With the old school handle on there. Here we've got the Bayman Crafts and Convenience store. And just down from the Bayman Crafts and Convenience, we've got the Good Times Hall. And is that also a Freemasons Lodge? Looks like a symbol in the window there. Alright folks, we're coming down into Old Bonaventure here now. I've seen a lot of signs for the Lions Club. There's an old house just got tore down freshly here. That's a cool way to store the firewood and let it dry. Squirrels are making a house in there. That's neat. Never seen that before. Check out this house, it's falling back on itself in here. Alright folks, we've just come to Old Bonaventure Heritage Center, St. Luke's Anglican Church. In loving memory of Stanley Verge. Alonzo, in memory of Marcella. And we have a couple of old bells here in this newly constructed tower. This tower and its two bells are in memory of the people and communities of the area who were impacted by the resettlement program of the 1960s. It is also dedicated to the memory of Kevin King, whose continued support of his home community has helped make this project possible. Okay, we got a bell here from 1892, you guys. It says Manili and Company West, AD 1892, William Weaver, SPG, Church Warden Thomas Hodder. Okay, we got William Weaver, SPG, missionary. And church wardens, Edward Cooper. So this bell is from New York. McNeely and Company West, Troy, New York. We're going to give it a ring here now in a second, guys. I think it'll even ring two bells. Okay, I think you got to pull on this rope here to get the upper bell to ring. Let's give her a go, you guys. See what they sound like. But first we'll read this. July 23rd, 2021. The day the bell from the St. George's Anglican Church in Ireland's Eye came to its new home. Pictured is Miss Rita Hodder, who at the time was the oldest living resident of Ireland's Eye. Miss Hodder, almost 97 years of age, rang the bell with pride. All right, Rita, we're going to give it a ring too. Wow. Extra loud. The Ireland's Eye Bell. On an island of such natural beauty lived people of faith near the sea. Side by side for hundreds of years, they fished and they loved through smiles and through tears. The Ireland's Eye Bell rang loud and clear, for all around to come and draw near. The people so proud were people of God, they thrived and grew on this piece of sod. The time drew nigh and resettlement came. The Liviers moved to places with many a name. Houses, stages, and the church became empty, lonely and still, as if saying, "Do not enter." St. George's Church in Ireland's Eye would be deconsecrated by and by. The bell from the church went to Dover, where it served the people over and over. This bell was sought and bought through love and thanksgiving by descendants and friends to honor forebearers living. This piece of history, an icon of worth, has been returned to the bay of its birth. At Old Bonaventure and Old St. Luke's Church, the Ireland's Eye bell has now found its perch. This treasure now shared was meant to be a resettled bell at home by the sea. Composed by Berdina Toup Ford in thanksgiving to honor the people of Ireland's Eye, October 25th, 21. Wow, that's pretty cool. St. Luke's Anglican Church, 1890 to 1892, registered heritage structure. Not open today. Here's a view of the back side here, guys. That's some oil tank, I guess. There's a couple of old iron gates here. Healthy bees here this year. Guys, check out the geology here. This area was all busted out with an excavator to give access down for another fishing stage. Over in this area here, I guess. Used to be one there by the looks of it. There's the excavator there. Making a pit up in the back. Maybe somebody's going to put a house up in here. Oh, there is structure up here. Looks like they got plans to put something back in here. Wow. It's even got an old school winch on the dock there. What a place, man. Wish I had a kayak. I'm gonna have to get a inflatable kayak, guys, for when we go on these random adventures. A guy can just pump it up, put on his life jacket, and go out and show you guys these beautiful picturesque coves. The cod here, the cod getting caught in this area are monstrous, and there's a little bit of evidence of capelin rolling in here. I'll show you guys now. There's a little fish right there. Those are capelin. And there's a couple there on the beach. And a few more right in here. Nice little beach here. And this is what the cod love to eat. The Atlantic salmon, I learned this year, also eat these capelin. And they're a very good treat. But I like them when they're salted. And my Uncle Rick used to throw them on the barbecue for a quick minute. Give them a little toasting up. And when you're having a cold beer, a couple of dry capelin, dandy little treat. So there was a structure here, guys, and as you can see, when you're building literally right on the cliff side without a foundation, a lot of people would set up pieces of telephone pole as your piles. And that would be their main beam going right across here. Looks like it was held in with a couple of toenails. And we got a bunch of crab pots here. An old fishing stage down there. So that's that structure I was just looking at. And there's that clearing or building lot they're making in the back. That old house there still has power connected to it. And this one here looks like it only has one wire there for cable. As you can see, we got a mixture of concrete piers, telephone poles, logs, whatever they had available back in the day. I'd like to see what it's like inside. These are homemade anchors here. Large pieces of rebar. Lots of fishing gear stored here. These are all original wooden windows. You got your lobster pots with your bait cups. Curtains still hanging in the window. See if we can get a little peek at this one maybe. There's an old stove. Old stove in the back there. Old weight bench. So as you can see, these are rough lumber floor joists. And they've got concrete down along ground level and built up off of that. There's quite a few bumblebees here. Hoping not to get stung. But yeah, everything's still inside there. You can see the kitchen table and chairs. And all I can hear is those queen bees there, so I'm not gonna get right in by that basement. There's the community woodlot. Need any wood, that's where you go. Let's be careful on the road in here though. This road is supposed to be 2 lanes and it's only like half a lane in some areas. Pavement is completely gone. See what I'm saying? Gotta slow her down a little bit here. Alright folks, now we're in the community of Trouty. Got some cabins right on the river. That one there you can rent. There's the number there. On the river cabins. Pretty large boulders they brought in. I'm gonna check out the other side of this town as well. But check out how they got like river access to the sea here. Look at this, you guys. Somebody hit the like button if you guys like exploring random areas of Newfoundland. Crystal clear water there. Trying to see if I can see any fish. Someone's fishing right off the point down there. He's trying to get some sea trout, I think. What a cool little place to go out in the kayak here as well. And here we have the St. Matthew's Anglican Church in the town of Trouty, Newfoundland. As you can see, the cross is bent back on this one as well. Still got the wooden cedar shingles up there for the bell tower. This church is from the 1800s as well. To the glory of God, in loving memory of departed loved ones, may the souls of the faithful rest in peace. In loving memory of Moses Dooling, Walter J. Spurl, and George Miller. In the evening and in the morning we will remember them. (1851 to 1888), and then 1888 to present day. This looks like this is still being used. Heated by oil furnace now. Would imagine they had a wood stove in there back in the day. Let's see if we can look in there through the windows. (1918 to 1983). Albert Burns. Whoa! Whoa! Major hornet's nest. Ugh. Shit! Just stirred up a major hornet's nest there, guys. Ugh. Got the shivers and everything. They were pissed off. I think I got one sting on the foot, and there's still one going around me here. Whoa! Don't like wasps. They always give me the friggin' heebie-jeebies, as you just witnessed. Somebody hit the like button. If you like watching Deep Dive Survivor, trip out over a wasp nest and run 100 feet away. Out here in Trouty, Newfoundland. Well folks, we just survived a major bee swarm there that time. Got it out of there just in time. Out here in Trouty, Newfoundland. I can see why they call it Trouty. This place looks very, very trouty. The sea trout are gonna come in through there. This guy's got the ultimate picnic area. $1 million view. This is the town of Trouty, you guys. We got probably a couple dozen houses on each side of the river, and that's the whole community. Fishing stage on poles there. Boy's got a wood shop set up there. There's the Deep Dive Survivor rally car. Almost 300,000 kilometers on it. And over here, we got a really old house. Wow. It's probably one of the first houses here. We're gonna venture in and see if there's any wasp nests in here, guys. Some crab legs. All original, you guys. Many coats of white paint on this house over the years. You got the cellar built into the cliff here. I think the locals are checking me out. This here is like a little barn, in-law suite. What a spot. They've got almost as good a spot as that blue house there. He probably feels the storms a bit worse though. Over here we got the outhouse, I believe. What's left to it? Would have been an old fishing stage here probably back in the day. Maybe got washed out. Got some wild raspberries here. Little stream going underneath here. Wow. Clothesline up there. Overlook at the main house, I guess. Yeah, there's the toilet bowl hole. Here's some big bumblebees over here too. Check that out, you guys. Somebody hit the like button. What a beautiful spot, Trouty, Newfoundland. Most likely very easy to catch a few trout here. I would love to see what this looks like. Got something wrought iron there for the fireplace, I think. So it's probably got really old school Fireplaces throughout. And all I can hear is huge bumblebees chasing me around here. Power still connected. Lots of rabbit poop. There's the old cellar there, guys. An old oil tank up there. So they did have a furnace in here at some point. All original doors and windows. Wow. Seems really well built, like it would still be dry inside. Probably just filled with really cool stuff from back in the day. This could be a museum for sure, I would say. Just needs a bit of tender love and care. Now we're gonna head over to Trinity, you guys. I had a delivery. I was bringing someone out some medication for work for one of my jobs for delivery, and I was in the town of Trinity. And we just kept going, exploring. Seen 3 towns so far. Now we're gonna head towards Trinity and see what's over there. And here, folks, we got the perfect swimming hole just outside Trouty, Newfoundland. Alright, folks, now we're gonna check out Dunfield on our way to Trinity. Scenery here is off the hook, you guys. Pretty sure this is salt water here. Let's go see what's on the go in Dunfield today. Yeah, that's salt water. Could go for a little dip right there too. Looks like it's sandy once you get out a little bit. Let's look at this place. It's like a little fairy tale. Birds are chirping. Bumblebees out here are the size of a Canadian loonie. So if this is salt water, there must be a little canal that goes out in between those houses there, right where that white car is moving. Let's get down there. Check out the old woodshed there, guys, the old workshop. Or is it an old barn with a hayloft up top? Is this where they kept the ponies back in the day? Oh yeah, there's a few stalls in there. Little animal barn. Guys, we're here in Dunfield, and there was no canal, so the ocean is just on the other side of this. I think they actually go out through that bay that I first showed you. But look at this fishing stage here. They got the horseshoe on the door. It's facing up to keep the good luck from falling out, right? And look at their posts here, holding this shack up. Seen many a storms. Some of them, not much left at the bottom. But you basically Get a big old tree and sharpen it down with the old axe. Stuff it right into the beach. Good to go for a fishing shack. This is real old, guys. Really neat. Didn't realize how much I liked being a tourist in my own province. So much in Newfoundland I haven't seen yet. So pretty cool support system here. They do have the top of these posts here notched and on an angle supporting that main beam here. And then more ledgers on top of that, and then your floor poles. And you can see right up through there's no plywood floor. Cool. What a spot. You could have a couple of goats running around there. Got a little island out in the cove. Looks like there's a lot of birds on that. Little secluded beach over here. Wow. This here is the Spurls Heritage House. And look at that wooden shed. The supports are completely washed out. So she's just dangling those floor beams. It's the only thing from saving that from cracking in half. Wow. It's really cool, guys. Nice sandy, partly sandy beach here. What do you think, guys? Got any gold? It actually looks like something right there. I have to keep this one for good luck. I think I just found a gold specimen. Alright, so what do we got over here? A pile of seaweed. Okay. Wow, man. Really enjoying this. Somebody hit the like button if you guys like this too. So we got the old fishing shed here. Still standing strong. We got the food grade fishery salt just inside the door for salting the cod. We got the filleting knife there. This could easily be propped up again. I mean, she wants to survive. You can even see beach rocks in here, look. So you can tell she took a major storm and smashed halfway up the bottom side of this and put rocks right up inside the building. Knocked this whole side of the structure out. Twisted this beam. But she wants to survive. So with the jack and a few more posts notched out, fella could Well, there's a little spill of food grade salt there now. They must have some cod salted on the flake for this year. A little bit of a breakwater here in between. Try to protect the house. Must have some pretty good storms in this cove. Wow. What a beautiful spot, you guys. They got a breakwater built all along here. So in here still we got some pretty strong supports intact here. That's what they want. And the other ones are some bigger supports. Some weight to them. Mussel shells. Pretty thick too. That's some of the thickest mussel shell I've ever seen. And big too. Must be some pretty good eating. Crab legs. There's the heritage house, must be pretty old, and they got a cool bench made there, the Chevy tailgate. So it's designated as a heritage house, but it's not, it's like a personal cabin. It's not for rent as an Airbnb or a hotel or anything. What an absolutely magical little cove this place is. Those islands are like white on top. Is that all bird gone? Shine to it, doesn't it? Probably just full of gold. Newfoundland has a lot of minerals, you guys. This place is not only rich in history and culture, rich in resources from the sea, oil, some of the best oil you can get in the world. It's so high grade. The oil that you drill out here, you can basically pour it right into your car engine. It's sweet crude. Needs very, very little refining. And it's some of the best oil in the world. Just going along the beach here, found one lonely capelin. Guys, we're still in Dunfield and lots to see here. There's a few coves. So that initial bay that I pointed out, that's like an inshore harbor, a sheltered cove. So they gotta go a nice ways to get out to open water. And then you got that second cove I was just showing you. And then we got this area here. So we're in a bit of a gully here. This house here is not standing the test of time. It's a bit of a wetter area. You can see like a bit of mossy grass. Maybe it was a dry meadow at one point, but it almost seems like it's a little bit wetter in that area. And then we got the old woodshed here. And it's amazing how much something will deform. Yeah, it's a wet area here. It's amazing how much something will deform before it'll collapse. I think the shingles are holding that together. And you see the windows? They're on a 45, but they haven't broke. Bumblebees on almost every flower here. That's pretty cool. Still fully loaded with firewood. Alright, so on the other side of the road we got a really old salt box house, the hip roof. Absolutely amazing. $1 million view right in the cove again. Check this out, guys. How do you get in there is the question. They have an old driveway. Okay, it must be where this boat is. I can see a bit of a retaining wall to get in. So we're gonna have to go in and have a little closer look at this house and the view it has. Nice boat here too. Hopefully no more wasp stings. Foot feels like it's a little bit swollen. I wonder how old this place is. Wow. Imagine what this was like back in the glory. It's the full glory days. Pair of shoes there. Wow. All original there, guys. There's a little vent hole there so it could breathe underneath. A lot of these houses where it's not a full foundation, you're going to get a lot of moisture or water running underneath, and they only last so long. The ones that were built pretty good like this one, you can get quite a few years out of it. All original wooden windows there. You can even see the clasps on that one up there. You could open it up. Let's have a little look underneath. So it's got a bunch of furnace venting, and the piers look like they were old whiskey barrels filled up with concrete. See how they're like oval shaped, like a... See that there, guys? That's a round pier, but they kind of look like barrel shaped, like an old whiskey barrel. Wow. Pretty cool. As you can see, you know, you got 3 or 4 feet there. Hit the like button, you guys, if you like it as much as I love it. Check out the view they had living here in this beautiful 2-story. Still got a couple of sofa chairs inside. There's where one of the wood stoves would have been. It's a chimney. There's one of the beautiful fireplaces there, guys. A couple couches still there. Chandelier. I don't know if you can see that. Hello. We're still in Dunfield here, guys. We're just further up the road. That's the 2-story house I was just showing you guys. This is a better view of the cove here. Got a hidden beach on the other side. What a day and what a place. Dunfield, Newfoundland, in between Trouty and Trinity. Trouty is spelled just like trout, with a Y on the end, Trouty. And this town here is Dunfield, D-U-N Field. What a beautiful spot. Just talking with one of the locals here, and really nice gentleman. 68, he's going to be 69 in November. I'm turning 45 in November. And he was telling me there's not a whole lot of young people left. It's mostly older people here, retired folk. And he said it's nice when someone comes around, they get a chance to have a chat with some people, right? And he was telling me a little bit about the cove that we were just in. And it used to be an old 2-story right up on the far end of that beach, over towards the secret beach. And the other cove experiences pretty good storms. I would say this one does as well, but it is a lot more sheltered. And what a beautiful spot to retire or have a cabin here, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Check out these 2 birds. And look at the views here, guys. Pretty sure that's the town of Trinity in the background, where we're headed to right now. And now, folks, we're entering into the town of Trinity. What a view. Better be careful, I'm right on the edge of a cliff here. Here's the parish hall. And we got a history board over here, folks. Just up here at the Green Family Forge. Right next to that is a guillotine and a whipping post. I will show you now as we're on our way out. I saw it on the way in. And it's actually a whipping post. People were whipped and people had the guillotine there at some point probably. Well, we got a full-on history lesson here, folks. Trinity, one of the oldest settlements in North America. Grab yourselves a coffee, I'm going to give you a full-on history lesson here. Trinity in about 1900 with Admiral's Point in the background. The best and largest harbour in all the land. Local tradition has it that Trinity Harbour was named by the Portuguese explorer Gaspar Corte Real in the course of his visit on Trinity Sunday in 1501. Trinity Harbour and nearby locations were visited regularly by European fishing ships in the 1500s. In 1579, Richard Whitburn first visited Trinity, observing that it was then the most northerly harbour used by English fishing ships. Whitburn also mentioned that the Beothuk came to Trinity at times in order to seek hooks, lines and tools. In the 1600s, English fishing interests on the northeast coast of Newfoundland had their fishing plantations, or rooms, in a number of harbours, but after suffering major losses to the French in the winter of 1696 to 97, several merchants moved to Trinity as it could be easily defended from attack by sea with proper fortifications. However, no action was taken until 1745 to 46, when a battery was installed on Admiral's Point by the Admiralty, and additional guns were placed on Gun Hill and Hog's Nose by mercantile firms. The fort was restored during the 7 Years' War, but was captured by the French in 1762. It was again manned by the American Revolution and during the War of 1812. Prior to 1700, Trinity was mainly a summer fishing station used by merchants and ship owners from the Channel Islands and the south of England. After 1700, Trinity became virtually a colony of the English port of Poole, Dorset, remaining under the sway of Poole for 150 years. By the 1740s, Trinity was a principal port for the transatlantic saltfish trade. By the 1760s, the summer population of Trinity Harbour was approaching 2,000 people, with approximately 80 families overwintering. Law and order. In 1615, when Trinity Harbour was a major centre for the English migratory fishery, the British Admiralty commissioned an experienced master to hold an inquiry into complaints of lawlessness and abuse of the harbour. The court held by Whitburn on 4th of June 1615 in Trinity Sunday was the first Admiralty court to be held in British North America. As there was no settled system of justice or government, English fishermen developed customs to regulate the migratory fishery, later enshrined in law. Thus, the captain of the first vessel to arrive at a harbour in the spring of the year became admiral of the harbour for that year. In addition to having first choice of the fishing rooms, the admiral would settle disputes according to the customary practices of the fishery, or the common law. He would be assisted by the second captain to arrive, the vice admiral, as well as the rear admiral, or the third captain. In the early 1700s, the growth of a resident, overwintering population required the establishment of civil law. In 1729, the first justices of the peace were appointed for Newfoundland, including Jacob Taverner and Francis Squibb of Trinity. These winter justices dealt mainly with petty crime outside the fishing season, but even so, their authority was disputed by the fishing admirals during the summer. A courthouse and gaol were built in 1778 through a local levy of taxes. A new courthouse was constructed in 1811, and a third, which still stands, in 1903. This structure also contained the living quarters for the constable and his family, for whom the prisoners would perform chores. It is said that the prisoners never caused problems while doing time, and on leaving always thanked the constable for his trouble. Here's the fortifications at Admiral's Point. The character of Trinity. Trinity was a fishing ship's harbor before it began its growth as a trading center in the 1700s, and would doubtless have become a fishing settlement had not the pool merchants established themselves here. But it was a host of entrepreneurs operating in the years 1700 to 1850 as merchants, traders, shopkeepers, and chapmen, peddlers, who had the strongest influence on the personality of the town and its cultural landscape. Community leadership was provided by the merchants and their agents, as well as doctors, clergy, teachers, and civil servants, who made their home in the capital of Trinity Bay. Shopkeepers, master mariners, tradesmen, and artisans formed the basis of a sizable middle class. These people demanded formal education for their children. They also formed the backbone of Trinity's fraternal orders, societies, and mutual benefit organizations. Fraternal orders, guys. I've seen a few lodges in the area. I bet you there's a Freemasons lodge in this town as well. While a visitor to Trinity in the mid-1700s might have thought the low, mean dwellings and stages of little account, the next century saw prosperity as well as more sophistication and order than was typical of Newfoundland outports. Beginning in 1835, a local road board undertook to widen, straighten, and otherwise improve the system of paths around the town, aided by the Reverend William Bullock, who had been a surveyor before taking holy orders. The old roadways survive to this day, named as they were in the 1830s. With its substantial homes, well-kept properties, neatly fenced gardens, and enhanced by attractive historic churches, Trinity has always appealed to visitors for its sense of history and pride of place. Church and school. Here's the St. Paul's Anglican Church. Here's the Methodist Church, built in 1877. And the Holy Trinity Church, about 1913. Most of the early settlers at Trinity were English in origin and members of the Church of England. The first clergyman, the Reverend Robert Kilpatrick, was a missionary sent out by the Society of the Propagation of the Gospel, SBG, in 1729. That year a church was erected, largely through the efforts and at the expense of Jacob Taverner. For about 10 years previous, services had been kept by a layman, Captain John Moores of Christchurch, Hampshire, in fish stores and private homes. The first Church of England was replaced by a new edifice in 1821, consecrated and named in 1827, St. Paul's by Bishop Inglis of Nova Scotia. For the occasion, Reverend Bullock wrote the now familiar hymn, "We Love the Place, O God." Construction of the present St. Paul's began in 1892. on the same site as the previous two churches. The church is one of the most handsome examples of the Gothic revival style to have been executed entirely of wood. And the one they're talking about right here is this one here. Gothic style, entirely of wood. The churchyard is one of the oldest in the province. The oldest legible headstone is that of Francis Squibb, one of Newfoundland's first justices of the peace, who dies in 1736. The first Methodist church was built in 1828. This was replaced by a larger church in 1877, which was taken down in 1935. Trinity's Roman Catholic Church, Holy Trinity, was built in 1833. Although a bell tower was added in 1880, the main structure is original, making it the oldest wooden church in Newfoundland. The earliest formal schooling in Trinity was provided by missionaries of the SPG, beginning with the Reverend Kilpatrick. Missionaries such as Jones, Balfour, and Clinch taught both Sunday school and day school. Private tutors included Captain John Moores, Henry Bennett, and Captain William Pittman, who taught navigation and other subjects. The Colonial and Continental Society began holding classes in Trinity in 1825. The next year, a school building was begun. With the assistance of the crew of the survey vessel HMS Snap. This school building, with a teacher's residence attached, was completed in 1828. What do you think of that history lesson here, guys? The sun has come out again. It's 18 degrees. Birds are chirping. What a beautiful spot. Been out exploring for 3 hours. Finished my job about around 1 o'clock. Wouldn't have made it back in time to do any more work before 4:30 when the office closes. So I'm just out here being a tourist. And touring around here, right? These are some of the old fishing shacks here, I believe. These buildings here, I think, were here before even the churches were built, because the fish merchants were here for quite a while. There's not many brick homes in Newfoundland. This was definitely built by the British. On Garland Road. We got the Leicester and Garland premises, Provincial Historic Site. We got the Rising Tide Theatre. We got a 2-story fishing stage. Oh, that is cool. Wow. It looks super old. A little bit of wind damage on the old cedar shingles. Some have blown off, and put in some asphalt shingles temporarily. But here's the back side of that 2-story fishing stage. There must be an outhouse with the world's best view. Guys, just gotta have a look out of curiosity. No? It's filled in, I guess. trails that go right along here. There's a couple over there enjoying the beach. So this one's actually one of the old post offices, guys. And here would have been one of the drop boxes. There's the visitor center here. So here's the courthouse that was built in 1903, guys. So we got a clock tower up there. Time is correct too. We're at the Dock Marina Restaurant and Gallery. We're going to get a feed of fresh mussels and cod au gratin. There's a little view of the menu here, guys. And we're right on the dock here. The above painting, this is the restaurant that I'm in right now, of in our art gallery by Louise Andrews, shows the business premises of Morris & Company on the Trinity waterfront in the late 1930s and early 40s. During that time, salt cod was shipped in barrels from Trinity on sailing ships to markets primarily in Spain, Portugal, and the West Indies. On the return trip, supplies of molasses, sugar, and rum were brought back to Newfoundland. The first trade began on this site at the turn of the 18th century. Joseph White, a Quaker from Poole, England, operated a fish premises here in the early 1700s and it had been a going concern here from the days of the original owners up until 1953, when the firm of Morris & Company closed its doors. Business on this site was the longest continually operated in the history of Trinity, although it has changed its names from Vallis & White to Lester & Garland to Joseph Hart, G.M. Cole, and to Joseph Morris. The Morris family conducted business in Trinity for about 100 years. The building was then unoccupied for 40 years. During that time, it had deteriorated to the point where it was ready to collapse into the water. In 1992, previous owners, Art and Louise Andrews, bought the premises and began restoration by first constructing the wharf and then renovating the interior. Much of the interior of this building is the same as it has been for more than 100 years. In 2013, the business was purchased by Corey Jones, a local fisherman from Trinity East. I'm going to try the mussels and the chicken Caesar wrap, and the soup of the day is turkey vegetable. We got some Atlantic mussels here, guys, with garlic butter. Set this up here. Mussels were delicious, guys, with the toasted garlic butter baguette. And now for the main course, we got a chicken Caesar wrap and turkey vegetable soup. And the soup is amazing. Guys, just had supper here at the Dock Marina here in Trinity, and it was delicious. Starting to get close to dark here now, and the old Rolly's getting low on gas, so hopefully there's a gas station here somewhere. I'm just going to show you this little cove here before we get back on the road, and we're going to head to the lighthouse next. There's an art and jewelry studio there. Absolutely amazing. Houses like this, you can tell they're super old. Although this might be a new build. I don't think so though. Commercial premises, circa 1854. I knew this was an old one. It's even got a little passageway in between these two. Admiral's Lookout. This is a vacation home here. You can stay here right on the water. Looking out at the lighthouse. Alright folks, getting low on daylight here. It's time to jump back on the road here, I think. Sea of Whales Adventures. So there's a few different whale tour companies here. And these guys got the Zodiacs on the go as well. Alright folks, smash the like button, comment down below your favorite part of the video, and let me know if you would come visit here. This is Trinity, Newfoundland, Trinity Bay, Trinity Bight area, and it's about 2.5 hours away from St. John's to the west, northwest. Alright, Deep Dive Survivor, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Alright folks, I said we were headed home, but we can't leave without looking at the guillotine and the whipping post. So check this out. We got the Green Family Forge, Trinity Historical Society here on West Street. Really old building. It's a blacksmith museum, a living history site. Business began before 1750 and operated for more than 200 years. And here's the whipping post and guillotine area over here. So you don't want to mess around out here in Trinity. One man trying to steal another man's dried codfish back in the day, 1750. You might face the guillotine or the whipping post. Smash the like button, you guys. Until the next time, Deep Dive Survivor, over and out.